All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Welcome back to another episode of Interesting True Crime Media. I'm your host, Ball, and today we'll be covering a man. This is gonna sound crazy. We're gonna be covering a man who faked his own death, all right, fled the US just to avoid great charges, but they end up catching him and convicting him and sentencing him to 5 years. All right, y'all already know the formalities. Before we get started, please hit that like button. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, and please share this video so we can keep all people and everybody aware of all the madness that's going on out here in this world. All right, without further ado, let's go to work.
If you blinked, you could have missed it. A seemingly unassuming man entering a Scottish courthouse today for the beginning of a week-long extradition process. He swears he is Arthur Knight, an Irish orphan, sick and in a wheelchair, unfairly thrust into an international manhunt.
I do not prefer to be called Arthur Knight. I am Arthur Knight.
But U.S. and Scottish authorities say that is an elaborate lie, and he is actually Nicholas Rossi, an international fugitive wanted on a rape charge in Utah under that name, but also known as Nicholas Alverdian in Rhode Island.
Deepest condolences on the passing of Nicholas Alverdian.
A man who thought he could fake his own death, flee the country, and create a new life to avoid prosecution, investigators say.
Was he Arthur Knight, British businessman? Or Nicholas Rossi, American fugitive?
His story recently brought to light by NBC's Dateline. Authorities say they were able to identify him by distinctive tattoos, recognized when he was in the hospital for COVID in late 2021. His identity already in the system for a previous sex crime conviction.
Interpol shared mugshots. Photos of his tattoos and fingerprints with local police so they could make an on-the-spot ID.
When the Scottish authorities looked at him in a hospital room in Scotland, they were satisfied that Nicholas Rossi was, in fact, the same person that is wanted in the state of Utah.
But he claimed those tattoos didn't prove anything. Instead, he told a judge in court that someone tattooed him while he was in a coma at the hospital, all in an effort to frame him.
We were once a normal family, but thanks to the media, our lives have been interrupted. And we'd like privacy, and I would like to go back to being a normal husband.
He stuck to his story in an interview with Dateline's Andrea Canning.
I can't walk. People say that's an act. Let me try to stand up. Let me try to stand up. Exactly.
But efforts to keep the apparent hoax alive didn't work. Last November, a Scottish court ruled there is overwhelming evidence that the man arrested in the Glasgow hospital is the fugitive U.S. authorities were searching for.
By the evidence of fingerprint, photographic and tattoo evidence, that Mr. Knight is indeed Nicholas Rossi.
Rossi's lawyers tried to get the extradition scrapped Monday, citing the need for authorities to question Rossi about another alleged rape in the UK, according to Sky News. But officials threw out the application to defer the case.
I am not Nicholas Alverdian, and I do not know how to make this clear.
The hearing, a crucial step in what U.S. authorities hope will be the end of a head-spinning search for justice.
All right, Ellison Barber joins us now. Ellison, this is such a weird and bizarre story. How did the U.S. have fingerprints of Nicholas Rossi in the first place to determine that they matched Arthur Knight?
The short answer is he was already in a sex offender registry. Tom, Utah officials say Rossi has used at least 8 names over the years. Police say he was Nicholas Alverdian, he was Nicholas Rossi, then Arthur Knight. He's been accused of sexually assaulting women in at least 2 states, Ohio and Utah. In 2008, he was convicted of sexual imposition in Ohio. That means having sexual contact with someone against their will or when they're impaired. Because of that conviction from 2008, he was registered as a sex offender, and his fingerprints were in a database that was accessible to investigators. Tom?
Wow. All right, Ellison Barber for us tonight. Ellison, we appreciate that.
My thoughts on this story is that sexual assault crimes are always a serious thing, and all we can do is pray for the victims in this particular case. But to Mr. I have daughters myself, and knock on wood, I can't even imagine them. I don't even want to imagine. But to Mr. Abaddon, or however you pronounce your name, you know, you know, you know what you did. That was just flat out wrong. Ain't nowhere around it. But I think that's I think that people who commit those acts and try to run away from it, it just go to show the coward that's in them. You know, like it's not it's never a good thing to force yourselves on anybody. But to do that and fake your own death to get out of it. And I also read, even though there was a long one for me to read, a long news clip for me to read, but I also saw the part where, once he had claimed he died from Hodgkin's lymphoma, they had created a whole little fake obituary online to get out of this, you know. But the key thing that kept popping up that I found that I wanted to cover this interesting crime story was that I noticed, like, throughout the news clipping, that they repeatedly said that he met women online. Listen, I'm new to this whole YouTube world. I'm like, but I'm not new to being online. I realize that once you put yourself out there, it's up to how other people gonna take it as far as with you. Now, you have to always to be careful, like, because this is not a real world. What I mean by real world, like when you cut these cameras off, or when you cut your site off, or whatever you cut off, like, you have to go live life. Like, you have to go live life. And just for anybody online, because now I've dated online too. By the grace of God, I never had any kind of scary moments like this where anybody tried to do anything to me, nor have I tried to do anything to anybody else who I met online. But just be aware that of people like this in the world. And I got a new channel, a true crime channel. But I just want to know, like, long as I'm on here, I'm gonna bring light to a lot of this darkness, because it's that's the purpose of me actually even doing this. It's to shed light on a lot of darkness that's going on, because I'm one of them persons, like, like I tell my wife all the time, like, I earned the right to be scary, because I've seen so much and I've done so much when I was young. Now that I'm older, I want to continue to live and get older and experience the thing of having grandkids, and be there to protect my daughters from weirdos like this as much and long as possible. And he only got 5 years. That's crazy. So just make you wonder, like, us and our skin complexion, like, I'm not even gonna get in that. But yeah, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this story right here. All right, this ball man, I'm signing off. And remember, the only time crime pays is on the internet.